Welcome back. We're continuing our conversation from today's show here online at andersoncooper.com. With us now is Gary Neuman. How tough is it to repair? I mean, you know, we just met Jennifer and Alyssa. They have this long history, and a lot of moms out there have had history with their daughters. How do you, I mean, can it be repaired?
It can be. And, you know, what you saw on here today was that things can happen very quickly. It's that people get so locked into a pattern and they've said such mean, horrible things to each other. They don't know how to just apologize, and they don't know how to go on from there, like spend 15 minutes a couple times a week where you're really focusing with each other. So it really can change very quickly. Energy builds on each other. Unfortunately, negative energy builds on itself, but more importantly, positive energy builds on itself, and you have a very different relationship very quickly.
I know we had a question here. Will you stand up?
I just wanted to know, after you verbally, say something damaging, can that be restored in the aspect of, if I say something hurtful to you and then you apologize to me, how can I take that sincerely?
It's a great question, and the key lies in, when I apologize, you making sure that I know what the heck I'm apologizing for. Too many people are quick to say, okay, I get it, I'm sorry. And then you don't feel very good because you don't feel that I really get what it is that you've said. So you need to say to me, you have to feel what I feel. And once I do that and I send that back to you, then you can appreciate that I really get what it is that you're saying.
There's also all those non-apology apologies, which we hear all the time, like, yeah, I'm sorry if I may have said something that may have offended you, or, you know, which is like,
exactly.
Well, actually, you did say something incredibly hurtful, you know, acknowledge it.
Well, that also goes, Anderson, with the I forgive you. You haven't asked for an apology yet, but I forgive you.
What are some solutions to dissolving a conflict, like with a parent?
So in dissolving a conflict, it really is to sit down and understand the root of what the conflict is. See, the problem in these conflicts happens in marriages all the time. People are arguing and fighting, and if we said, what started the argument, we have no idea. I have no clue. We don't even know what started it. So it's really being resolution-oriented. I'll tell you, I've done a lot of studies on couples and relationships. The number one difference between couples and relationships that are successful as compared to those that are failed is that the successful couples resolve. They sit there, and instead of just complaining for hours, they get quickly to the point is, okay, what can I or you do so that this won't happen again in the future? What can we change to make that happen? If you keep thinking, how do I resolve the problem, you're going to get to the answer much quicker and stop it.
On the show, you talked about the two types of toxic people to avoid, the critic and old-time abuser. What are the other two?
Well, the other two is the energy zapper. That person is the negative Nilly. You know, it's like by the time you finish with them, you just
like
want to
Debbie
put a
Downer
bullet
on
through your
Saturday Night
head.
Live.
You know, it's done. You know, and it's draining. And of course, if the person has a problem, that's one thing. You talk to them about helping them. But often it's just feeding you their need to vent and be negative. And the other one is the taker. There's a lot of people in life who are givers, and you know something? Takers love those people. Right. They take, and it's not balanced at all.
Okay, here. What do you want to ask, Gary?
Yeah. I've been married for 38 years.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. What's the secret?
Patience.
Patience?
And
all right.
love.
All right.
But what I say to people is, if you don't remember the argument, what started it, then it's not worth it. Don't dwell on it. You have to remember. If you don't remember, then it's not that important.
Right.
So
that's good advice.
It is very good advice. And I'll add to that it's important as a couple to remember the good things we did the last day and weeks. It's very easy to remember what's going on right now, but sometimes, being married, thankfully, for 25 years myself, you know, you have stuff in your head, and sometimes I got to walk away and say, you know, my wife today, she loves me, she's sweet to me, so okay, she messed up, I messed up, we do things that annoy each other. Remember the good things and let go of those bad things because they're unintentional.
So my parents have been married for probably 20-something years or whatever.
Okay.
Both of them have their walls up so high, and they have these arguments, as you said, that are continuous. How can I help them understand everything that you just said. Like, how can we...
What age are your parents?
65, 64.
I mean, at a certain age, are people
Yes.
beyond changing?
Well, I don't think they're beyond changing. I think they're beyond...
What? You don't wonder that? My mom's 88. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to change it. Like, that's it.
People are never beyond changing. What they are is beyond you feeling the responsibility to change them. You have got to be able to say they've chosen their lives. God loved them. You cannot walk around with that pressure. So I don't even want to give you an answer to your question because it implies that you have to go now and save your parents. And sometimes we have to grow up and realize we can't save them. They've chosen what they've chosen. We just love them and listen to them to the best of our ability and make sure you are not repeating what was modeled for you in your relationships. You start working on yourself, making your life better, and that will make your parents happier.
It's so much...
You're helping a younger mother-daughter relationship, and I'm a little bit older than the mother-daughter, and my mom lives in another state, and she doesn't like to talk on the phone, and we kind of have conflicts a lot, and I'm just wondering how you start to talk to somebody who doesn't like to talk on the phone, and that's the only way you can talk to them.
Well, two ways. First of all, making a trip over there and actually spending some time is one way to have some heart-to-heart. The other way might be Skyping or iChatting. I do so much.
Not willing.
She doesn't even like to answer her phone.
Well,
Has she tried Skyping?
have you gotten her the computer or the iPad?
She hates going on the computer. Like, she has a Facebook. She never checks it. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, look at pictures that I'm doing. And she's like, I don't want to go online.
Well, if you get her, perhaps if you get her something that makes it easier for her to go online to be able to see you. If she does not want to see you or talk to you, I'm going to say to you, in a way, what I said to that other nice woman. Sometimes we have to deal with the fact that our parents are closed down even to us. And there's a point at which when we become adults, as painful as it is, we have to say we have to be able to manage that and love them for who they are and not always try to make them who we want them to be.
Yeah.
So true. All right, thanks.
Yeah.
You understand it?
I'm actually here visiting my daughter. One thing that I think is I think a lot of parents try to be their kid's best friend. If my child went and said something to me that was, I stopped it with, please don't speak to me that way. I demanded the respect and still have
Do you find
it.
your relationship with your child changing as your child, how old is your child now?
My daughter here is 28, and I live in Michigan, and then I have a daughter who's 23 in L.A. So we're completely spread apart. We talk every day. We get along great. They actually ask me to come and visit with them. We have a great time when we're together. I've been married 20-some years, and I look at my life and love it, which is a great feeling. Yeah. And I look at, yours, and I agreed with the other woman. Your mom knows where you're coming from. She's hearing it now. Moms have that instinct. But I do think the other lady, they need to say, please don't speak to me that way. And I really listen to my daughters, and sometimes girls are hormonal. They have their issues, I had my issue. But, and let them go through all that, and then maybe afterwards say,
I'm glad you guys have a great relationship now. Yeah. Gary Neuman, go.
Well, your point is well taken that what we're seeing here is a 17-year-old out of control. Discipline is important, and the earlier you begin discipline and that sense of respect, that's what becomes important. But a parent has to have self-respect. And I think what you may not have seen in the deeper thing here is that mom in this show, she's missing a lot of self-respect. She's painting herself with all kinds of things, and one of those is the inability to stop her daughter for years now from painting her as well. So discipline and love are the two combinations, and they are both equally important, and we start as young as possible before they get to the place where they're out of control.
When I was a kid, I used to have this fantasy that I would have a board of advisors who would, give me life advice. Gary would be on my board. He would be. So thank you so much. Great to have you on. We're out of time. Thanks for joining us online. Thanks for joining the continued conversation here at AndersonCooper.com. Let us know what you think about today's show. Write your comments below. See you next time. Bye-bye.